Ladies and gentlemen, Ringsiders Wrestling has asked me, Marcus of Mann, to introduce the guest for the 200th episode spectacular. Now, this guest or guests have made the effort to make this the grandest podcast that you have ever seen. It is my pleasure to introduce the guests, the kings of the realm of British podcasting. I present to you Sir Callum and Sir Jamie, as known as Ringsiders Wrestling. Hello, boys. How does it feel to be on the other side of the table?
What a surprise. It was us all along.
It was us. It was us all along.
The whole time. We were the 200th guest.
Now, boys, you've had so many interviews over this with guests from the entire world. And now it is going to be my pleasure to ask you the questions, to put you on the grill.
I am nervous. I am nervous. Not just because it's us getting the questions asked. It's you asking us the questions. And I know what you're like.
Well, my opponents in the ring know what I'm like as well, and they always tap out by the end, so you both will be tapping.
This is like an episode of Hot Ones. I don't know if we'll make it to the end.
Well, we'll see. It'll be the last man standing. Will it be Sir Jamie or Sir Callum? Well, pray tell, let me start with the first question. And it's going to be an easy one. They will get harder as we go along. So, to both of you, so our fans here can get more of an idea of who you are, what was the first wrestling event that you attended? We'll start with you, Callum.
The first ever wrestling show I attended was in 2004, and it was called IWP The Gathering in Hull, so where we live. And it was headlined by Doug Williams, the Zebra Kid, and Paul Burchill. And a very, very good show. We got to see Paul Burchill do the C4, which blew my mind, because I'd never seen anything like that before. But yeah, awesome show, run by the Knight family. So yeah, it was a very carny show, but yeah, it was awesome.
That sounds like a lot of good talent on that show. A lot of people who went on to do other things and staples of the British wrestling scene.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Mine was, I'm going to show my age now. May I call you Marcus?
Marcus, yes, that is both my real name and my wrestling name. So Marcus will be very much appropriate.
My first show was, showing my age now, 1994. Also in Hull, at the Hull Ice Arena. Main evented by Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Owen Hart against the British Bulldog and Bret the Hitman Hart. Yes, my friend and his family got us all tickets. We all went to the show together. It was a wonderful experience. There was Undertaker versus Yokozuna, Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, I believe. It was a stacked card. And that was my first ever live show. Oh,
brilliant. I thought you were going to say even earlier, I thought you were going to say, showing my age here when I saw Les Thornton versus Brian Maxine in the... But no, 1994, you can't be so old then.
How old do you think I am? I mean, come on, bit of respect, all right?
We're going to show the backstage to all the loyal listeners to Ringsiders. You were born in 1898 and you're actually much younger than you look.
I was born in 1898. You are very correct.
You have some sort of time traveler here.
Okay. You would think so, that with the lack of technological knowledge that he has, you would think he's from 1898.
Imagine the wrestling he could have seen from that era. He could have witnessed the entire history.
All the black and white wrestling.
I'm going to give you a spoiler. I'm going to give you a spoiler. I was there for the Hackenschmidt Gotch match. All right?
The classic.
With the referee.
I
was still
there.
Displeased with the result to this day.
Well, if you go back and look at the photos in history, you may just see a bearded wolf amongst the crowd. I was there.
Hold that thought, guys. Before the next question comes, I'd just like to introduce you to my lovely niece. This is Marnie.
Madam Marnie, we welcome you to the show.
Come here.
No.
She's shy now. She's been asking to come on the whole time, and now she's run away to hide behind the fridge.
Well, I mean, does she realise we're in the presence
This
of
is Marcus
of Man?
Royalty.
No wonder she's
Royalty
nervous,
to the
guys.
Isle of Man. I am the heir to the
This is
throne.
my sister.
Good day, madame.
We're being interviewed by the wonderful Marcus of Mann.
Hello, I'm also the champion and future Prime Minister of the Isle of Man.
Manny, you can come out now.
Manny,
We're not looking.
quickly.
Now, I'm quite intrigued by that. The future Prime Minister of the Isle of Man. I mean,
Yeah, this guy's practically a pirate. He's also a champion. You can see his belt in the background.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful belt.
That's awesome.
How cool is that?
Look how shiny.
It's shiny.
Very shiny, very wonderful. Befitting a king. I must have my treasure room.
So
Must be fitted
he's
up.
interviewing us this time. For some context, he's interviewing the Ringsiders on the 200th episode.
Wow.
Right?
That's so cool.
So for the 200th episode, the easiest question is out of the way. We're going to get to the hard ones now. This is going to take
Okay,
some
right. We're
thinking.
going to get to the other questions.
Right, Matt.
And I would like
Yeah.
Sir Jamie to be the first one to answer. So Callum, you'll have some time to think.
Okay.
So I would like to know, and I'm sure the dear viewers and listeners out there in the podcast world would like to know not your favorite interview that you've done, but the one that surprised you the most. The person who you maybe had an opinion about before you started the interview, and then through the course and through listening, that your opinion of that person or persons would change quite a lot. So,
that
question.
That's a great question.
that's a very good question.
Brilliant question.
And I do not appreciate the fact that you made me go first. That's
Right. I'm just going to head to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, you go ahead. Wow.
I am a heel, you know.
That
Right.
is a
If
very
this is the second question, what's in line for the other questions?
right. I mean, I haven't. I don't think I've been surprised by the kindness of anybody we've spoken to. You have a few that are perhaps you probably look at the character more. You think they're going to be more like that character, but PCO, I guess, was one of them when we spoke to PCO. He's this huge monster. He's this scary guy. You're like, are we going to get much out of him? And then blew me away. Just a kind, sweet-hearted man who we could have spoken to all night. So yeah, I would have to go PCO. A wonderful, wonderful human being.
Okay, I'll have to go with Cara Noir. Someone we spoke to you recently, and the reason I was so surprised is, well, we had no idea what to expect. We'd never heard Tom Dawkins speak before. Cara Noir does not speak. So speaking to him, it was surprising to see how eloquent and intelligent the person behind the character is. So yeah, I'd go with Cara Noir because that guy really gets it. He's a phenomenal person and he's a great wrestler too. So yeah, absolutely Cara Noir. Everyone else has been great. No one has ever surprised me in a bad way. Everyone who's spoken to you, including yourself, Marcus. That might come to the surprise of some people, but even you were nice at one point to us.
I was trying to be nice, but I learned my ways. There's always time for a heel turn.
We discussed this before. When we spoke to you last time, that was you playing a character. This is you now. This is the real you.
Every single day. Every single day I have disdain for each and every other person in this planet.
And we're two of them.
Well, exactly. And the questions will get more and more difficult as we go along. For Cara Noir, yes, I can recommend that interview highly. And yes, I suppose wrestlers who wear face paint or have a mask or have a certain way of being, I assume that it can surprise you a lot. I listened recently to your interview with the Batiri.
Oh,
Two
yes?
fellows who run around as demons and screeching. Two very eloquent young gentlemen, and people I see a lot for their futures.
Very good choice there. I did not expect them for demons to be so talkative for a start, and wearing such casual clothing. I guess that's what demons were in 2021.
I guess so. A wolf in sheep's clothing, as it were. Moving on to the next question. And Sir Callum, You will have no time to prepare on this one. You're on the hot plate, as it were. Your first memory of a WrestleMania and any particular match that stands out. We are, after all, in WrestleMania season, and it is the biggest event for wrestling fans universally. So your first memory, something you watched on television or something that you maybe saw in an advertisement, but something that stood out.
I do believe my first memory of a WrestleMania is the ladder match from WrestleMania 17, I believe. I think that's not my first wrestling memory. It is the first WrestleMania that I watched. So
TLC of 2001 with the Hardys.
Yes, that's right.
Jim Christian and the Dudley Boys.
Yes. So first memory was a couple of years earlier. I didn't get to watch a WrestleMania live until a couple of years later. But that's the match that really stood out to a young me. And I'm sure many people of that same age, that's the match that made me think, wow, this is crazy. I was absolutely hooked, and it made me appreciate, even at such a young age, that tag team wrestling is fucking awesome.
Yeah, very good answer. We'll move on to Sir Jamie.
Well, I'm sorry, Marcus, but I really feel like you're giving me these questions to show my age. I mean,
maybe have you tried not being so old?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see this coming. Wow.
I found a tag team partner here.
All right. Yeah, right. So before we get to my answer, I guess we've established myself as the babyface here, which I'm perfectly okay with. My first memory was my auntie and uncle had, was it satellite or cable, whatever it was back then. My first memory, and I'm going to show my age again, was WrestleMania 4 in 1988.
The for the vacant championship.
Yes, the tournament which Randy Savage won. And obviously the first match was the Battle Royal for the big trophy which Bad News Brown won. So yeah, WrestleMania 4, and it stuck with me all those years still that I always watch WrestleMania 4 2 or 3 times a year, just for nostalgia. I'll be watching it while I'm off before WrestleMania next weekend. And that's my earliest WrestleMania memory, was WrestleMania 4, the whole tournament, Hogan Andre again, Savage winning the title, the Battle Royal, just a great show.
Oh, brilliant. Good answer. Yeah, a little bit of everything there. But again, showing your age, and that was not the intention here.
I believe you.
Answers.
Because of who you are, I believe you.
You may have the answers, but I have all the questions.
Ah.
Pseudo Roddy Piper quote.
Hell yes.
Okay. I think I'm going to throw a curveball here in my list of questions. Typical British thing, ginger nut biscuits, love them or hate them? So Jamie.
As a ginger nut, believe it or not, I hate them.
An exclusive here, ladies and gentlemen, Ringsiders podcast, everyone in the universe, Sir Jamie, hates ginger nut biscuits. Elaborate.
I'm not a fan of biscuits in general. I make the exception for a chocolate hobnob, but apart from that, I'm not a biscuit fan.
Right. Well, I mean, that's not the answer I was expecting. Of all the questions here, okay, chocolate hobnobs are in, ginger nuts are out. So Callum, I need to hear your answer.
I love biscuits. I love ginger nuts. I love anything really that I can eat that doesn't have nuts inside. Ginger nuts don't have nuts in, regardless of the name. But yeah, I love biscuits. I will eat anything. That's my answer.
Brilliant. I think we can find the most passionate answers that have been given so far about biscuits. So we may be just going on that trail and seeing how far it leads.
Well, I love the fact that he would love ginger nut biscuits because he is now your best friend, tag team partner forever.
There's still time for him to turn.
This is true, and I have not given my opinion on ginger nut biscuits, so we'll leave that one to the realms of kayfabe, and we might come back to that later. There's got to be a little bit of intrigue. That's why people
leave them wanting more. Leave them wanting more.
So back to a wrestling question, and it is Callum to answer this one. What would be your favorite wrestling book of all time? Not necessarily an autobiography. I think we've talked about this before, but your favorite book about professional wrestling?
God, that's a hard question.
Yeah, he can't read.
I can't read. Yeah, good one, Jamie. It's a tie between Edge's first biography and Shawn Michaels' biography. Oh God, I'll go with Edge's just because in that one you actually find out why he was called Edge, and that blew my mind for years to come.
Do you want to elaborate for the audience and people?
Yeah, he was driving to a show and he needed a name that wasn't Sexton Hardcastle, and he was listening to Edge Radio. And he literally at that point decided Edge was going to be his wrestling name.
Wow.
Right.
There we go. And now this year, a main event at WrestleMania, and obviously a huge storied career before that. But yeah, just
you see,
come from.
Fascinating story, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm being a heel now, but I've got both those copies signed. But just to throw that out there, you know, I've met Shawn Michaels. And
Jamie, it doesn't count if you sign them yourself. You are aware.
Oh well, in that case,
you have to get the actual.
Edit.
I'd just like to clear up. Jamie, I'd like to defend Jamie. He didn't sign them himself because he can't write. So.
Touche.
I think it might be quite good that you two are not in the same space right now. Quite fists flying through the wall. Jamie, to ask you a question as well. What is your?
As you know, we've mentioned before. My thing is I collect wrestling autobiographies and books, and my favourite is, I've always said this because of the memory that goes with it, is my signed Roddy Piper autobiography. Would you like me to tell the story, or?
I'd love to hear the story. Roddy Piper is a heel after my own heart.
Well, I met Roddy Piper a year before we sadly lost him, and he wasn't like any other meet and greet. He had his agent come out and said, "Look, can you all stand in an individual line? We've set a table and a chair up. Roddy wants to speak to you all individually for a couple of minutes." So I got to sit down and talk to Roddy for a couple of minutes about the book. He signed it. He put his arm around me. He is to this day the most humble, sweetest man I've ever met in my life. So Roddy Piper's book is very close and dear to me.
Yeah, I understand that completely. And the more stories, the more people I hear about Roddy Piper, his humble beginnings and the hardships he had to go through, his career. The more you appreciate the man who is behind the gimmick and why, that it was a part of who he was. Everything was genuine. He didn't do anything halfway. There was no gimmick there. Essentially, This was him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very good answer there, both of you. I'm feeling softening now. I've got to do something to harden back the image.
Yes, come on.
Okay, and Jamie, it's your choice to answer the next question first. So Jamie, I'd like to know your favourite UK British wrestling event that you have attended, and this was outside of the WWE universe, as it were. So your favourite UK show you've attended?
UK show. That is a very good one. I mean, obviously, we're very lucky we have NGW, our home promotion. I've been to some of their shows, which are always fantastic. But I would probably have to say I went to a Revolution Pro show in 2019, and they had a lot of the New Japan guys there. I got to meet Naito and Evil and Sanada. I got to meet Zack Sabre Jr. And then the card itself was just outstanding. I got to meet Shibata. It was an incredible show. A very special moment with Shibata giving Gabriel Kidd the contract to go to the dojo for New Japan in the middle of the ring. So I'd have to say that's probably my favourite one.
Yeah. Rev Pro 2019. Sounds good. Good answer. And Callum, same question to you. Your favourite UK wrestling show that you attended?
Does New Japan
competed on? I mean...
Ooh.
Does New Japan count?
Were you in Japan watching it?
It was in the UK.
As long as it's outside of the WWE bubble, is my criteria.
New Japan Royal Quest was awesome. And that, I mean, I think it was, Okada versus Minoru Suzuki for the IWGP World Championship. And I've never been literally on the edge of my seat as much watching that match as that one. Every time Suzuki went for the pile driver, you really just wanted him to sit down and hit it because you knew it would be over, but he never got to hit it. So you never know if it would have worked. And the story they told was just perfect. I haven't actually watched it back since because I don't think it would be able to top being there live to see it. But yeah, amazing match, amazing atmosphere, and I can't wait to go back to another New Japan show when they come to the UK because it was incredible.
I think as well we could maybe do a special mention because obviously we was at the WrestleGate show where we got Hangman Page and Pac.
Wow, yeah.
For atmosphere alone, I mean that one's up there as well. When Hangman's music hit, that little venue that it was a sports hall, that roof felt like there was 20,000 people in there. So for moments, that one's there as well.
Yeah, no one expected that.
Oh, well, brilliant. Great answers, guys. Great explanations with them. So for my next question, we're going to go into the ridiculous and the sublime again. And it is Callum who shall answer first. I would like to know, do you have a guilty pleasure wrestling gimmick? Someone who you know is bad, not necessarily a bad wrestler. Many people groan when they see them on the TV or on the stage, but somebody who it's their match coming up. You know they're not great, but you're going to watch their match every time and maybe have a little chuckle to yourself.
I loved Christopher Nowinski. I thought he was an amazing heel with a lot of potential. I know he's done a lot of important work post WWE with the concussion protocol. But that guy, I really thought young me thought he was going to be a future world heavyweight champion. And I always had a soft spot for Christopher Nowinski. I just thought he was a great character. I'm not sure if many people would agree with that, but I always enjoyed his work.
I'd say his run was so short, but you got to see parts of that when he was on the reality television program Tough Enough.
Yes.
Going through there. And then he started out with a good friend of mine, William Regal, there as a tag partner at a point. But his in-ring career was very short, but as you mentioned, did a lot of good things he did afterwards. But it's an answer I wasn't expecting. So
yeah, Christopher Nowinski.
Question that. Good.
Yeah, and surprisingly, mine's the same answer.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
No way.
Yes, it is. I was always...
That seems like you didn't have an answer and thought, yeah, that'll do.
No. I was always a fan of the guy as well. There was just something about him, and it made you hate him. It was just... Yeah, there's something about him. So, yeah, I'm going to go into Nowinski as well. I mean, I could throw in maybe Duke the Dumpster Drosy as well, but I mean...
We could have that as a special mention. I'm not sure it's on some people's lists, but...
Yeah, Duke the Dumpster Drosy, it was kind of... I don't know. I couldn't take my eyes off watching him, so it was... whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but no, Nowinski's probably someone I would agree with, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he's gone on to do, like you said, some really, really important stuff.
Do you know if he does podcasts? Would he be interested in two of his biggest fans interviewing him?
I mean,
well,
it's certainly something that, I say I will organise.
Something I will have to edit, I'm sure. But...
It seems like it's a match made in heaven. You both have the same answer. And you both give very good reasons. I'm sure if he sees or hears this, and someone can link this to him.
He's watching.
He's watching. I'm sure he's a Ringsiders diehard.
I mean, I just want to. I don't know if you're aware of this, Marcus, as well, but this gets watched in Connecticut as well, right, Callum?
Yeah, we always have 2 viewers from Connecticut.
Stamford, Connecticut.
And we all know it's Paul and Steph. And
Because you're on first name, nickname terms at this point.
Paul and Steph. As we call them, yeah.
I hate to send you guys Christmas cards.
Yeah, they do. They do. We don't return them.
No, of course not. Your busy schedules and everything, and recording day round. Okay, my next question, and it shall be Jamie, Sir Jamie, answering first, will have an interactive element in this one. So I would like to know your favorite wrestler's entrance music, and it can be from anything of all time.
Oh no.
And you get extra points. We're not playing for points, but the audience will give you extra likes if you're able to sing entrance music.
Now, are we talking just music or actual entrance?
I think you've got an idea here. So I'm saying the actual entrance music or entrance. If it's got lyrics to it and if you can sing, then we'd love to hear it. I think the Ringsiders, they've been hearing you talk, they've been hearing you interview, but they have not heard you singing yet.
There's a reason for that.
Perfect opportunity. I told you it's getting harder.
Apart from yourself with your wonderful entrance, of course, I'm a Triple H guy, and I'm also a Motorhead guy.
Oh.
So obviously Time to Play the Game is one. King of Kings is one. I'm also a big fan of Line in the Sand, Evolution. Excuse me. So I would say probably all 3 of them. And are you expecting me to sing now?
It's up to you. I think it could be a moment here. I think we could all...
Well, me and Callum are not singers, are we, Callum? But, you know,
Maybe.
If I had to pick, I have to be in the mood for one of those 3 as well. Like, one minute I could be Time to Play the Game, but at the minute I'd probably say, Evolution is a mystery. There you go. There's a line for you.
What if my favourite entrance theme doesn't have lyrics?
Then I think you're lying.
To the song.
Don't insult our host, Marcus. He's asked you
It's true
question.
though. My favourite entrance theme doesn't have lyrics.
A lot of them don't have. I thought you would choose William Regal, a man's man. That might be my favourite entrance.
I'm sure it is. You're close friends with him.
Well, exactly. So, Sir Callum, I need to know, what is your favourite entrance music?
I'll hum it or whatever, and you have to guess what it is.
I love that idea.
Okay, ready? I'm going to beatbox it. No, I'm not.
No, you are.
I can't beatbox. I can't even hum entrance music. This is going to be interesting. I don't know what's going to come out my mouth. Dun 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 dun. What is it?
That sounds like a really, yeah. Sounds like a terrible attempt at the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
Well, at least I did it, Jamie.
I sung a line.
And Marcus got it.
I sung a line of.
I think you 2 are both great on this. And if people are watching this on YouTube could write underneath who did the best entrance music.
Yeah.
So, Callum,
just right.
Oh, he'll win. He'll win because he's got the looks and the groupies. He'll win.
I mean, it's not my fault. I can't help it.
It's Evolution's fault. So there go. I should win. There we go. All right.
Well, he did choose a song from a heel faction, but a lot of people did like that. A lot of people do like Motorhead. You got that one.
Yeah.
Callum chose the one which was like the Deep Purple rip-off of the Ultimate Warrior's theme.
Yeah.
You ever heard Highway Star? Listen to the middle part of that song and you'd be like, this is the Ultimate Warrior's music.
I know exactly which song you mean, yes. Yeah.
Jim Johnson has a few things to answer for. I love Vader's theme music, but anyway. So that was one part of the interactive one. We might get into another bit later.
Hey, Marcus,
We're
you
running on time.
reel these questions off because I'm having so much fun.
This
You
is a
keep
lot.
going, man.
Okay, let's have a think.
You can come in.
Right. So it is Callum's turn to answer the next one
My turn
first.
to come
Just
first.
trying to remember here.
Please, do not put the camera on me.
The camera has to be on you, Marie, I'm afraid.
So the question is, with some careful editing here, through your interviews and wrestling stories, and both being wrestling aficionados, I need to know, what is the most intriguing or interesting story of a wrestling rib being pulled throughout history? So the most interesting wrestling rib was something that you guys have maybe witnessed yourselves, heard on another show, or heard when people have talked to you about it. So what's the most interesting wrestling rib that you've heard, Sir Callum?
It's got to be when Randy Orton shit in a handbag, surely.
It could be.
I mean, that's the
Context for that.
all-time one.
Isn't it also X-Pac did that with Sonny's stuff?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of who it was, it was the all-time best prank ever pulled in wrestling. I'm sure people will disagree, but I always, no, maybe not enjoyed is the word, but it always tickled me that somebody would have the gall to do that. I don't agree with them doing it, but it definitely tickled me. So I'd go with Randy Orton taking a poop in someone's handbag.
So we were getting onto the theme of defecation here. Already. And I'm going to ask the same question, and hopefully not going to get the same answer from Sir Jamie.
Well, mine is an Owen Hart rib. I forget the pay-per-view. I think it was 1995. It was Triple H or Hunter Hess Helmsley, as he was then, against Henry Godwin. Was it in the pig?
Yes, in the pig
match.
There
Was the story of when the animals were brought in during the day. The guy asked where to put them, and Owen said put them in there, and it was Vince's office. Yeah, and that just cracked me up. And then obviously when the story is Vince came into his office, saw all these animals, and Vince's first reaction was, "Where the hell's Owen?" He knew it was Owen Hart straight away. And that's just one of my favourite stories I've heard, ribs. And it's always nice to throw an Owen Hart story out anyway, because he was a wonderful, wonderful talent and a wonderful human being as well.
That's a wonderful one. I've heard that one as well. I love that story. Any kind of ribs with Owen Hart when he's ringing up his dad, Stu Hart, at the hotel, and challenging him, saying it's Reggie Parks, the belt maker. He was the old school wrestler. He's like, "Come on now, Stu. I'm 2 daughters down here. You can come and challenge me for a fight." And like Stu is like, "Reggie, if you wanted to test me, you could have tested me then." But the whole thing was Owen Hart the whole time, just trying to get these 2 old fellas to fight each other in a hotel. That's great. There's a lot of great stories with ribs.
You see, Marcus, I feel like we're softening you up, you see. I feel like you're coming round to our...
Yeah, I feel like he is.
I love the wrestling business. I love the simple things. Like, you guys have Deep Heat, don't you?
Yes.
So relaxing, yeah.
Yes.
People putting that in young wrestlers' clothes in the crotch area before a match. It's the one I see quite a lot.
Oh.
I'm not going to name any names here because they're all active in the business, but you can see them on the camera afterwards on the stage adjusting their trousers a little bit too much.
Yeah, I know Deep Heat all too well from my footballing days, so yes, I know that feeling.
There's certain places on the body that it shouldn't go.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I've got a very specific question coming up now.
Oh,
Okay.
And it is Callum who's going to answer it first. I think there's a reason, because I think, and I might be wrong here, that Callum is more au fait, more familiar with Shikara Pro Wrestling than Jamie is.
He is.
So my question is a Shikara one. Who is your favourite ant in the colony? I will start with a list of ants which you can choose from. You can choose fire ant, silver/green ant, soldier ant, worker ant, carpenter ant, assailant, deviant, Arctic rescue ant, mission assault ant, pharaoh ant, I didn't even know about, or thief ant.
Oh God, I love the colony. I always loved Soldier Ant, mainly because of how he looked. He looked like the most badass of the ants. Yeah. Absolutely Soldier Ant. Honorable mention to Fire Ant, who I believe was Orange Cassidy.
No. Orange Cassidy is not fire ant. This is ridiculous. There's some things in wrestling I'll believe. I believe when you throw somebody, they flip over the ropes and they come back. Fully believable. Orange Cassidy and Fire Ant,
Two different
completely
people.
different individuals.
Is this like Sami Zayn and El Generico, two different people?
They're two different people. Yes.
Which they are, of course.
They're completely different people.
Different people. And it's Soldier Ant for me. I love the colony. A very good question. Very well researched question, might I add. Well done. Even a few ants in there I haven't actually heard of before. So
I had to do research, and Pharaoh Ant I'd not heard of. They had a storyline a few years ago where they had another group called the Hive, where these assailant and deviant missile assault ant turned up to fight in the King of Trios against the regular colony. At one point, I think there was 3 colonies. It's very strange, but very wonderful. I remember when Soldier Ant also broke off one of his antenna and couldn't work properly.
Yeah, genius.
It's just...
The thing is, in Chikara, if you were playing a character, it wasn't a character. You really was what you was playing. And I just like to believe that it really was a colony of humanoid ants who decided to wrestle. And it kind of like in Lucha Underground, where you know that it wasn't, they weren't playing characters. There really was a dragon.
Yes.
People really were killed off. That's how I like my wrestling.
Exactly. There was consequences to the action.
Yes.
Action may be a bit exaggerated, but you wouldn't see the person next week if something had happened.
Yeah, if they were killed off, they were killed off.
Exactly.
Do I need to answer this question?
So, Sir Jamie, I've given you some time to think. Do you want me to run down the list of ants once again?
No. I've got the one that I like.
Oh, I need to hear.
Because it's basically what I am of this podcast. So mine is the worker ant.
Work ants, one of the originals, one of the OGs. The first 3 ants, work ant was there. Why do you prefer work ant over the thousands of other ants?
No idea. Probably because he's just a hard worker like me. You know, he's the working ant of the faction, as I am the working ant of Ringsiders. You know, I am the brains of this show. You know, I am the worker, the workhorse. So yeah, the work ant.
Work ant is one I love. I think something that we can all 3 of us agree on is we need to see the colony resurrected in AEW.
Yes, the colony in
start a
AEW
petition
was amazing.
We can. Let's start a petition up, Callum.
There's so many factions in AEW that the Dark Order could splinter off and have the colony if it was up to me to decide.
And obviously, I was of course joking, because we all know Callum is also equally as hard as working for this podcast.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering which one of you is trying to be the most heel here, but you're both overtaking me by leaps and bounds here.
Callum's a natural heel.
Okay. So it is Jamie's turn to answer the next question. Let's have a look. Of a country that you haven't visited, so somewhere you've never been, which country would you love to visit to watch a wrestling show?
Ooh.
So Jamie, would you answer first?
Well, I mean, it's one or two. I think we're probably going to give the same answer. It's Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, Japan.
Okay.
We've had the pleasure of going to America to see shows. Obviously, Scandinavia is on the list as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
which countries in Scandinavia would be?
Well, obviously Sweden. You know, obviously Sweden followed by Denmark, but we'd be lying if we didn't say we wanted to go to a Wrestle Kingdom, wouldn't we, Callum?
Oh, absolutely. It takes place on my birthday, so I do feel like Wrestle Kingdom has to be a birthday present to myself at one point. So, yeah, Japan and Wrestle Kingdom is the event I want to go to. I just feel like watching any wrestling in Japan would be an experience. It's such a different culture, such a different fan base to what we're used to in the West. I'd just love to go and experience wrestling in Japan and see it how they see it, because I do feel like it's two completely different fan bases. So, yeah, absolutely Japan.
Brilliant.
Marcus, I just want to say you're a natural at this.
Yeah, you are.
I wouldn't say I'm a natural. I try and do my research, but you guys are the ones. You guys are the ones who are talking and forming such great opinions. I'm finding out, and your audience is finding out so much about you guys. Do we have time for 2 more questions?
We do.
We do, of course.
Okay. I'm going to do one more, one slightly serious, and one which might include another interactive part. We'll start with the serious one, and it is Sir Callan to answer.
Oh, great. I get the interactive one first again.
You'll get a chance to do both of them, but just be prepared. With access to so many talents that you both have talked to through your interviews, is there somebody who you'd consider very underrated, a talent who's hidden under the radar, who you think is going to make a big splash in the near future? And Sir Callan.
Does this wrestler have to be called Marcus? Is this?
It doesn't. I don't know if you've interviewed more people, Marcus, but I think I'm rather set in my ways. I'm not sure if there'll be any more big splashes for me. I don't even go to the top rope nowadays.
Why would you go to the top rope if you don't need a top rope to win a match, Marcus?
I break people's legs and they lie on the canvas and then they tap out shortly afterwards.
Why would you do extra work?
I think you figured it out. Smart guy. Well, so Callum, are you dodging the question?
Maybe I was stalling you while I opened the YouTube page, Marcus. Maybe you fell for my plan.
A heel can always read another heel. A worker can't outwork a worker.
Underrated. Someone who's undervalued.
Someone who you think is going to make a big splash. Someone that maybe has not been seen by a wider audience.
Campbell Myers. Campbell Myers is really tearing it up right now in the Chicago scene, Texas, Midwest. He's absolutely smashing it. He's only 22 years old, but I believe is about 6'3" and 250 pounds. He's a big guy, and he's got a very bright future. Lovely guy to speak to, but when he gets in that ring, he's a bit of a mean bastard. You know, he's not very nice. But yeah, huge future if he keeps at it. You can see him at New Wave Pro coming up soon. New Wave Pro doing some great shows. New Texas Pro Wrestling. I really do feel like by the end of next year, he will have won a company's major championship. He's that good.
That's brilliant. That's somebody I have to check out then. And of course, he's got an interview available on.
Yeah, we've got an interview with Campbell Myers. Yep. Posted last week if you want to check it out.
Nice. I'll definitely be looking into that one. Sir Jamie.
Well, I've got a couple, a few. The first one is a young guy, 20 years old, called Hunter Drake. I spoke to him a week or two ago. He was trained by Ricky Morton, Dr. Tom Pritchard, and Glenn Jacobs, a.k.a. Kane. Okay. Recently wrestled Jake Christ for the IWA Mid-South World title. Very, very big, bright future. I believe he's working for GCW WrestleMania weekend. And the other guy is a guy called Ace Perry. Okay. Who is another outstanding talent. Again, 23, 24. He's from the Indiana area. He is going to be a big, big star. He's actually wrestling at Effie's Big Gear Brunch WrestleMania weekend. Fighting, he's actually going one-on-one with Effie in a soul on a pole match. Effie owns Ace's soul, and Ace wants his soul back. So they are competing in a soul on the pole match at Effie's Big Gay Brunch. And of course, I mean, me and Callum, I don't know if you're familiar with Alice Inc. Me and Callum will watch a couple of matches.
I think she wrestles in the same territory that I, but we try and stay out of each other's way, and I think that would be for the best.
Yeah, I mean, we watched a couple of her matches the other night, didn't we, Callum? And another one, very, very talented. And of course,
fellow she wrestled one time, put him in a box, Demon Lock, I believe his name was.
Yes, we watched that. He's
someone I'd flag up in the Scandinavian scene. It could be a breakout star. If only the poor fellow could get out of that box.
Well, this is it. I mean, if he gets out of that box, we'd be happy to speak to him. I think it'd be another case of the Battieri syndrome there. I don't think he says too much, but we'll see. I'll see if I can...
You'd be surprised who speaks when they come on Ringsiders.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few speak to us. I mean, it turns out Hallowicked, Ophidian, they all speak, Danhausen couldn't stop speaking. I mean,
Hallowicked was very open about his plans for world domination on Ringsiders. He told us the whole plan. So
I've just thought of something. Sorry, before your last question, Marcus. We've interviewed Hallowicked. We've interviewed Danhausen. I mean, potentially there's a team. I mean, Danhausen also wants to take over the world and buy a blimp. So they could work together. We could make this happen.
Hallowicked-hausen. Is that what we're saying?
Hallowicked-hausen.
I think we found it.
There we go. I think we may have to tweet that out later on.
I feel like we already have.
There we go.
I could be their manager. I don't know. Well,
good.
So my final question, and this has been lovely, lads. This has been wonderful. You have softened my soul. And obviously, I'm going to leave the most difficult question and the one that's going to make you cringe in your souls and bodies the most. So Jamie, you have to answer this one. Can you do an impression of a famous professional wrestler? Will you do it for us now?
Have you been speaking to Callum before this?
I have not said a word.
Well, apparently, I think I can do a Vince McMahon. According to Callum, I do the worst Jim Cornette impression ever.
I'd like to hear that. The more the ones you're saying that you can't do, those are the ones I'd love to hear.
I'll do Jim Cornette, but for the listeners, I want to make something perfectly clear. This is Jim Cornette done by Bruce Pritchard. All right.
It evolved into that when I told him his Jim Cornette impression was bad. He was like, no, this is Pritchard doing Jim Cornette.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, because I listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast regularly, and he is incredible, by the way, impressions. I mean, he does Dusty Rhodes, he does Randy Savage, Piper, he does them all. But Jim Cornette, as done by Bruce Pritchard. Motherfucker, give me a double cheeseburger, extra ham, extra onions, extra pickles. Motherfucker.
It's Mickey Mouse.
Okay, that was actually really good.
Thank you very much.
The goal is not to get the accurate, it's to entertain, and that was brilliant.
Well, I can entertain. I can do bad impressions.
For added bonus, sorry Callum, for added bonus, I can throw a Terry Funk in if you like.
Oh, I'd love to hear Terry Funk.
Lawler, you soul-sucking dog.
That's really good, actually.
There you go.
My eye.
There you go.
Okay.
Your turn, Callum.
I'm fine with this. He said the goal is to be entertaining. That's what I always am. So
the goal is to be entertaining and true to life. So before you say who your impression is of, do the impression and we can guess.
My question to you, Marcus, was going to be, I'd like you to name anybody, any wrestler in the whole world for me to do an impression of, and I'll do it for you.
Oh, I love this one. Okay.
I like this.
See, I'm up in the stakes. I'm being entertaining, Jamie.
I respect that, Callum. I respect that. And for the record, I was entertaining as Bruce Pritchard, as Jim Cornette, and Terry Funk.
Okay.
I've got a couple. I'm going to choose one I think which you might find more difficult.
I'll find them all difficult. I can't do impressions apart from me speaking my normal voice. So
Okay. We'll do a variation. You guys are from Yorkshire. I'd like you to do 1992's British Bulldog. So, Davey Boy Smith's British Bulldog, talking about how he's going to win in Europe, and he's from Manchester. So, a guy from Hull doing a Manchester accent.
all right, let me just get into Manchester. I'm just trying to think how my friend from Manchester speaks.
Just think of Liam Gallagher.
So what am I doing? What? Give me
So
my
you're
character.
the British Bulldog.
Yeah.
You're coming over for the European tour in '92, and you're going to take home the gold to America.
You ready? I can't stop laughing before I do it.
That's a good sign.
Listen, lads, I'm the British. I'm British Bulldog. I'm coming over 1992 to win the European. No, wait. What's my goal at this event?
I'm not sure. We're getting out of.
Who give me my opponent?
You're going to be facing Ric Flair on the European Rampage tour.
All right, European Rampage Tour,
You're facing Randy Savage, okay?
1992 European Rampage Tour. Me, British Bulldog. I'm coming over, and I'm coming for revenge. I'm coming for you, Macho Man Randy Savage. It's me, you. August 21st, the Manchester Evening News Arena. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
See you there, British Bulldog. Don't make a big mistake. Oh yeah, I'll see you at the Manchester Evening News Arena.
God, it's like it's.
That
Randy Savage just entered my soul there for a short while.
I was convinced that was Randy Savage.
If
I
I
mean,
closed
that was-
my eyes, that was Randy. That was
Yeah.
insane.
I've done that on a few. No, back to Marcus of Mann. Which one am I now? Yes, we can edit that a little bit.
Oh.
I used to do Randy Savage on some radio stations as a joke. So that's why I set you up with the Macho Man. Right, so Sir Callum and Sir Jamie, I have to remember which one I am now. That was my final question of this grilling, and I think you two have done amazingly well. Just so the audience know, you had no idea of the questions I was going to
Not a
ask
clue.
beforehand.
Not a clue. Not a
That was
single clue.
tense.
I've chosen one after another, so you had no time to prepare.
No.
And I think this has given the audience for Ringsiders a little bit of an insight in your wrestling backgrounds, your senses of humor, who has influenced you, and quite possibly what you think of the future. So from me, Marcus of Mann, to you, Sir Jamie and Sir Callum of Ringsiders, it has been a pleasure. And signing off, the Stockholm Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Marcus of Mann.